30 over 30 book tag. Is that right? No, there's not 30. There's six questions. It's just the over 30 book tag. Let's try that again. Hi everybody, I'm Rebecca from Reading ID and I'm coming to you today with the over 30 book tag. So right here, over 30. This was originally created by Ink Not Blood. Let's get into it. So the first question is, name one of your favorite books that features a protagonist who's 30 years old or older. So the first one that came to mind was one of my absolute favorite books that I read last year, A Tale for the Time Being. So the one of the main characters of this is just 16, but a lot of the story is centered around her elderly grandmother or great grandmother. Let me say, I think it says on the back. She's telling the story of her great grandmother, a 104-year-old Zen Buddhist nun, in the pages of her secret diary. I don't mind the risk because the risk makes it more interesting. And I don't think old Jiko will mind either because being a Buddhist, she really understands impermanence and that everything changes and nothing lasts forever. Those of us who are on the older side can take some advice from Jiko about rolling with it. Name a book that represents who you were when you were younger. I was just looking at my shelves and trying to find books that I've had since my childhood. And one thing that really came to mind was all my Star Trek novelizations. But I think I have to cancel this because this was not actually my childhood copy. I picked this up when I was working in a used bookstore as an adult. So I was highly obsessed with Holocaust fiction and memoirs. So I think some of the more common ones that many people might have read would be like Number the Stars and The Devil's Arithmetic. I was like such a hipster about like the Holocaust genre. I was like, oh, I've read that, before the teacher assigned it. I've already read every book published about the Holocaust. I've been at the library, like searching through the physical card catalog, finding the one that was about like Holocaust memoirs, exhausting the supply in the children's section, and then going to the adult section. So off the top of my head, some of the ones that I read were The Upstairs Room, Knockwood, In the Mouth of the Wolf. All right, question 3 is, name a book that represents where you are in your life now. This is where I am mostly in my life now, the library where I work, and this is also where this book lives. I wanted to shout out One Crazy Summer by Rita Garcia-Williams. If you haven't heard of it, it's a great middle grade book. Sisters who move from New York to Oakland for the summer to live with their mom, and they end up going to Black Panther summer school. Oakland, of course, is the home of the Black Panthers. There's just not a lot of resources out there for young people to understand why Oakland is such a special place and understand that history and understand, how the Black Panthers gave us breakfast programs, free breakfast programs that now are in almost every school, across the country. So yeah, I'm just really rooted in Oakland, and I recommend this book. Now, back to the couch for question 4. Name a book that represents something that has never changed about you. I guess I could go back to that Star Trek book. What did I choose? Oh, the one that I chose was Noteworthy. So again, I just read this book last year. If you haven't read this book, it is the story of Jordan, who is going to a performing arts school, and she is a singer. She's a low alto. I'm also a lifelong alto, lifelong choir singer. I continue to sing in choirs. That's something that's never changed about me. And by the way, I absolutely love this book. This is the best cross-dressing trope book I have ever read. If that interests you in any way, or if you're a musician, you'll connect to it, pick it up. It's by Riley Redgate, by the way. We're on to question 5. Name one of your favorite classics. Looking at my shelves, there's really obvious one that's taking up a lot of real estate over there. And that one is Parade's End by Ford Madox Ford. I'm not sure a lot of people in the US are really familiar with this one. It's more of an English classic. It really captures sort of the post World War One Edwardian era. It's like a modernist masterpiece, a little bit kind of stream of consciousness, not 100% linear. That if that sounds really deep, don't be that impressed. I really came to it because I was obsessed with Sherlock fandom and Benedict Cumberbatch, and he starred in the BBC adaptation. And so, of course, I also have the script. I guess this is just the script by Tom Stoppard, who adapted it for the BBC. Whether you like costume dramas, I didn't think I liked costume dramas, but I just kind of fell in love with watching it. And it is presented a little more linearly in the adaptation. Yeah, I highly recommend, unlike every other book ever, do watch the adaptation first, then come back and read it, and you will be much more like centered in who the characters are and just more invested, and I think have more patience for when it kind of is like rambling and trying to capture the sensations of nature or whatever. I actually listened to it the first time on audiobook and just kind of was like immersed in it. I didn't know that I liked or cared about modernist writers. The only one I had really been exposed to was Hemingway, and he sucks. So what's the last question? Something that I don't have. Oh yeah, it's name a book you would like or would like to read that was published in the year you were born. So interestingly, I just was having a conversation with someone a couple weeks ago where we were talking about like queer literature and like what was even around when we were growing up. This would have been probably around 93 or something, but it was written in 82, the year of my birth, and that is Annie on my mind. Oh, put a picture here. It was such a watershed that it was actually, you know, a story of these two girls falling in love, and it was not a tragedy. I mean, there were some negative consequences for some of the people in their life, but, you know, they kind of actually get a maybe happy ever after that's presented as a possibility for them. And it's just a soft, at its heart, it's just a soft story of these two teenagers, these two young women in New York are hanging out at like the Met or something, you know, something iconic. This has been the Over 30 book tag, and I think that's gonna do it. This is one of my very first videos I've ever posted. I figured this would be a great way to introduce myself to the community. So I hope you'll come back for more. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, and see you next time. Bye!